best-selling author of Woman Evolve. Prologue. There are moments in life when we have to live out the message we say we believe, and those moments usually come when we least expect them. For years, I have been preaching and singing that God is the God of peace, that He's the God who silences the chaos in our lives. But at the start of 2014, after a record-setting break every chain year, I found myself suffering through the worst pain I had ever experienced in my life. And I had to do it as the world watched. On January 18th, 2014, I arrived at the Stellar Gospel Music Awards with joy and disbelief. I was still digesting how I had gotten there and why me. I had 7 Stellar nominations and the opportunity to lead worship from the Stellar stage. This was gospel music's biggest night, and for the first time, I wasn't watching from my living room couch. I was a living, breathing, and singing example of Ephesians 3:20. God can do anything, you know, far more than you could ever imagine or guess or request in your wildest dreams. He does it not by pushing us around, but by working within us, His Spirit deeply and gently within us. I was riding an unbelievable wave that had started almost a year before when Grace, my first album with a label, released. It made the top 10 list of Billboard's top gospel albums and remained there all year. Break Every Chain was on this album, and it was now played and sung all over the world. The week after the Stellars, I was heading to the Grammys, where I had 2 nominations. Oh my goodness, everything is moving so fast, I thought. This has to be God. When they announced the new Artist of the Year and called my name, it was extra special because my dad was there. When he told me earlier that week that he was coming with my mom to the award show, I was speechless. Daddy's gonna actually miss a church service? Bishop Fritz Cobbs had been a pastor since I was 10 years old. We all understood the assignment our family had to Jessup New Life Ministries and the Wayne County community, so I never pressed him to miss a Sunday morning service. I could probably count on one hand how many Daddy had missed in his life. Even our vacations would be scheduled around Sundays. But he put that aside to be with me on this night. As I took the stage, I could truly sense God in the room. I'm always so grateful for His presence. What a privilege and an honor. Every time I stand to minister, my desire is always God's presence. We're nothing without Him. As I sang Break Every Chain under the spotlight, I could feel His strength resting on me. After I picked up 3 awards, including New Artist of the Year, a group of us called an impromptu celebration in the suite of William Murphy, my pastor and mentor at the time. I called my father saying, "Hey, Daddy, we're hanging out in Pastor Murphy's room. If y'all want to come up, let me know." It was nearly 1 a.m, so the chance of my parents joining us was very low, actually non-existent. "We'll be there in a few minutes," he responded. He said yes. Once again, I couldn't believe it. My parents weren't the hangout types, so this was another big deal. This special time with them meant more to me than any award or applause. On this night of celebration, they ventured out and we had a ball. My dad was a man of few words, but when something witty came to him, I put him up against any comedian. He was hilarious. If preaching didn't work out, he could easily fall back on stand-up. I was expecting security to knock on the door any second to ask us to keep down the noise because Daddy had us screaming with laughter until 3 a.m, talking about everything. Pastor Murphy was rolling on the floor in tears. When I finally walked my parents toward the elevator, they were both beaming with pride from witnessing all that God was doing. I snapped a photo of my father standing at the elevator, holding one of my Stellar Awards in his hand and grinning with youthful glee. That trophy was my gift of thanks to them for the many sacrifices they made so that my brother and I would want for nothing. Daddy had built a special curio cabinet to house and display my awards. Just before he stepped into the elevator, this man of very few words said something he always told me, "Daddy loves you, baby." He gave me a kiss on my cheek, and then the elevator doors closed. My parents were leaving the next morning. That was the last time I would ever see and speak to my father. None of us could have imagined that God would call him to his eternal home the following day. Over the years, Daddy had given me invaluable gifts, a rich faith in Jesus, a strong work ethic,